Okay, this is the top of the table. I know it's hard to see because of the glare. I'm taking just some basic spray enamel, fast drying, all-purpose black paint that we have some leftovers, so I don't know how much this is or what, and I'm just
Dollar can.
dollar can. There you go. And in this case, I want it to be kind of mottled. And don't forget your size. That's one thing I'll forget. I'm going to go all the way around because it has a little bit of apron. Now, I am spraying a little bit, unfortunately, back on the stuff I've already finished. But I will touch that up. Main thing is on the edges because, and actually I'm using more than I used on the legs because I like black whenever I'm going to dry. I want to say dry erase because it's dry distress, but I like this. I'm also kind of sticking with the grain. I don't know if that really matters, but I prefer it. And then I'm going to take some Waverly Bermuda. I'm going to let it dry just a minute. We do have the fan on, which I have a feeling you can hear.
And like we said earlier, this is Florida. It is August.
It's August, 1,000 degrees humidity. And I am using the same brush that I used earlier. I'm not cleaning up. It is getting a little dry, tacky. This is from Waverly. I don't know how much they are, but I can find that information out. I'm going to tap off a little bit. I made a bit too much in here. Now, before I let it dry a few more minutes, I'm going to either love or hate the fact. And remember, this is one of those shiny tables. I did not sand it or degloss it. We did clean it off. What did we use to clean it? Just basic
Vinegar water.
Okay. Sometimes Dawn, sometimes just water, sometimes not much at all. And it's still damp. I'm just scared to go ahead and here we go. I kind of want a lot of the blue to come out on the top because I liked it on the legs. So I'm kind of glopping it on. This is chalk paint. Try to make sure you go back over it so your brush strokes, even though they may not show through, you kind of want them even. And you see in some spots I'm putting it on thick. Other spots I am, and it's also the drag of the paint underneath, the oil, see it's coming through. Oil and chalk paint resist, and that's the resistance I want. It resists how it wants, but I want resistance, period. Switch it. Ooh, the sun is beating down. We're kind of under a little, what are we under, a sun cloth, as they call it? A sun sail?
I don't know what they call it.
It gives us a little bit of a break, but. Alright, and then I gotta remember, go around the edges, and again, I already did the apron, so I'm probably gonna hit it accidentally, but that's okay again. Don't be a perfectionist. I'm just trying this technique. I like these colors together. And then try to smooth the edges a little bit. So that blends in those paint strips that went the other direction. It's great. And you see, like, again, let me just go ahead and do this for fun. I'm going to go over the apron, some of the stuff I have left over on this brush. So as not to waste. And give a little more dimension. Again, I'll try over there. Because it's chalk paint on top, hopefully I can just stress it a bit. And as you can see, I don't know if you can see the glare or tell in the video, but the chalk paint is drying pretty fast because of the heat. Normally paints say don't paint in this much humidity. You have to wait for another day, but in that case we would never paint.
We'd never get anything done.
Because it's always this bad humidity in Tallahassee. Alright, and I'm just touching up some spots underneath it. Now I've got the brush still wet. Okay, I'm going to switch out. Go back to the Dixie Belle. Sent us this drop cloth color to sample. And as you can see, this sample, I've only used it once, which was just a few minutes ago. And it's I don't know, is that pancake thick or is that, I don't know. It's thick. Thick but also smooth at the same time, if that makes any sense. Alright, I just poured some out so I won't contaminate the sample blues. And you're going to see it, as I see it, is there's still some wet. Here goes nothing, as people would say. And it's amazing the difference in the drag as far as what's dry and what's not. As the paint decides to love it or hate it. And I can see some of the little bristles coming out on this paintbrush, which it shouldn't be doing as much as I've used it, but I will go back and get those off. Some of the blue is still wet, like right in here, it's still wet. So it's becoming a little bit straighty, which means I will probably go over it again in a minute. Now you can't tell, but I'm really pushing this down hard, this brush. At first I don't. This is just a glide over. And then you start applying pressure to get it to glide across because it's starting to dry and goop up between the oil base and the chalk paste. Edge a little bit more. So I'm adding a little, I think, too much white on the edges. So I'm going to go like this to feather it out. Some of that blue will show back up. There we go. So as you go, you just kind of play with it. Oops. And notice the Dixie Belle is a little bit thinner than the Waverly, hence I dropped some, and I usually don't drop hardly any. I mean, that's okay. Makes it more maneuverable, actually. What do you think, hon?
Coming along.
Hot mess? Definitely hot. Because it's hot out here. And then on top of everything else, I think I'm going to do something I'm going to regret. But I'm thinking about applying a little bit of water. Like Janie Ray and Turquoise Iris. They're so sweet to show you how to do. I hate that there's extra paint in there. I usually use it all. But let's see this messer. I just want to block the fan a little bit. I want to see what happens. It is so dry and humid, I don't think it's doing anything. Maybe a little bit. As you can see right here, I don't know if you can focus in on that. Right here, it got wet, and it's coming back to the black paint coming out a little bit more. The oil's resisting the wet because the chalk paint's sucking it in. Giving it kind of a watercolor effect. There it goes. Now you can see where it's picking up on the grains in the wood, the water. Now we see that. That's my fault. So that was from earlier, not smoothing it out. That may or may not have to stay, depending. I'm going to go ahead and spray the legs down a little bit to give them a little bit more smoother effect. And just broke the spray gun. So
And that's what happens with our dollar store buys.
oh, it just came out. I don't know if I can get it fixed. That's what happened when we go live, too. Okay, so the other legs will not be watered unless I can... Nope, not going to happen. Oh, well. But there you go. There you have it. Now, I don't know if I'm going to go over it or if I just want to let it settle. The only thing that's bothering me is right here, so here we go. This may mess up everything, but if you can zoom in, I don't know if this spot bothers me. And that's just possibly something underneath that was already there. Ah, there we go. I kind of don't want, and you don't want to leave bubbles because those bubbles will show up. I learned that the hard way. We'll see if some of these bubbles will disappear. Might even be brave and add some color back in. Now you really got it coagulating, so that tells me it's time to almost not mess with it anymore. I like a little bit of coagulation, but I don't want the whole thing to goop up. I'm adding back some in the Waverly Blue with my wet brush. Same brush. And this part's coagulating because there's a lot of black right there underneath. So that's just going to have to be that. And it's dripping a little bit, so I'm going to tame up the sides. Some people really like the drippy look. I like drippy but not obvious drips. So I'm just smoothing out the sides to use the leftover paint. Okay, since it broke, I'm not going to mess with, the spray gun broke, not the table. I'm going to let it sit here with the fan on it, and as you can see, that's really coagulating. So when I put the sealer on it, because there's a little too much water right here, hopefully that'll get from being too jumpy. So again, it's hot, it's a mess. Okay, looks cool. That makes sense. I think I'm liking this Dixie Belle. I wish I had it in the blue, so maybe I'm gonna have to order some blue and see. Alright, we'll get this dried up and we'll go from there.